any of you disagree strongly with your character and the decisions they make?
I am in full agreement with my character.
All right, fabulous. Well,
But.
No,
But is me. When I got the script on like, we're gonna fix the plane, I was like, do you see the size of that plane? I questioned whether we could do it or not. And that's a lot, I go through that a lot with my character. Can I really pull this off as a character, as an actor? Like, can I really do this? Like from day one, really, can I really kill a zombie? Now I can do it, right? But when I question that to myself, I think it's a good thing. And I'm like, we are going to try to do this. And I looked at the kids, I'm like, we are. And I could see in their eyes, like, are we really? So yeah, I question that a lot.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Charlie last season did some very bad things, but I do think this season, I wouldn't disagree with anything Charlie has done. I really loved that she came up with the idea for the hot air balloon to save the group. I thought that was a really special moment, seeing her feel just proud of herself to come up with this idea that's going to potentially save the people that took her in after what she did.
characters had a really good redemptive arc.
Thank you. Yeah.
Some people think when they see the show, it's about escapism. But in reality, I find that it's much more than that, because it forces you to face very important questions. So my judgment of Salazar is he's doing what needs to be done under very, very special circumstances. He already went through an apocalypse before, when civilization existed, and yet horrible crimes were being committed. And now this is a moment where everything has changed. There's nothing which existed before that gave any sense to social organization. So at this point, for Salazar and for me, understanding Salazar and why he has to do what he's doing is completely in sync with what I would think.
We're sitting here with a Grammy Award winner, right? So
Multiple
Yes.
Right. Very talented. We were actually just listening to your music before you came in.
Well, I'm glad you didn't
They didn't
play
even
while I
know
was
that's
here.
what was playing, by the way. They were just like getting down. They had no idea.
No.
And I'm sorry to put you on the spot, but do you guys ever jam on set? This is important to me.
Actually, we hear a lot of music, but the most musical of all, I think, are the girls in the makeup and hair trailer.
Right?
Yeah, they have a great selection of music.
Yes, they do.
I'm not as tacky as to bring my stuff there to have it played while I'm sitting. I mean, I can suffer through that.
But music is playing a role in the Walking Dead universe these days, and you've
Totally.
been a part of that.
Absolutely.
So-
as well it should. I mean, we need music. We need music, and more in circumstances like these.
Yeah.
When we did the hot air balloon scene in episode 6 of this season, Coleman, we were just in this tiny little hot air balloon all day, and he would just play music, and it was super fun. But Coleman's the best.
You know something? Can I say
unfortunately, he's
something
not
very
here yet.
quickly? In one, I don't remember what episode, and I think it was on season 2. There was a moment when Coleman is like we were on a ship, that yacht that he had, Abigail, and his character. And there was a moment where nothing was happening, and Coleman came up and said to the director, he went over and talked to the director, and the director said, okay. And they took I think it was a Michael Jackson song.
Yes.
And they played it, and he started singing and dancing.
Oh.
And they never used it, but it's there somewhere.
I've seen it. It's amazing.
It's very funny.
You're all together on an airplane.
Not me.
Not
Salazar is in some quest.
right. But
Yes,
that's
we are.
it's the first time in a while, I feel like. Is that exciting for you to see that there's this big kind of reunion happening, or your characters get to move forward together? Is that exciting?
You know what I really love? I love how when we get split up and then something crazy happens, the characters come back to life, come back to our reality, right? And I love seeing like Jenna dressed completely different than when she left. June, sorry.
I know, we were
No.
looking at Jenna's outfit.
No, Jenna.
I mean, I did
But
change.
you know, when June, the last time I saw June, she left, I have this picture of her. And then when she comes back, or like Strand comes back, You know, like he's now has like this outfit
He's now Mitch.
that is called
He's
Mitch in
now
here.
Mitch.
And you know, and I love how the characters have evolved in that little time period that we've been apart. And I love the moment that we come out of our trailers. I'm like, Mitch? He's like, I know, right?
He is this little like
And then
yes, with this jumpsuit.
I see like June, and then I see John, and I'm like, and then I know that time has passed, and I love that reunion, like as an actor.
I also think it makes our scenes that we all do together like 10 times more amazing, because when we haven't seen each other, even personally and our characters, it's really, really great.
I love the new costumes. I'm a big fan of, like, for example, in
everyone's new
June's
look.
case, I would never forget seeing June leave, and then when I saw her as a vulture, I was shocked in season 4. When she come out of the car and saw John, I was like, June? What? Laura?
Yeah.
Who are? It was shocking. And I love that. I love the transition of characters as an actor, you know. So
Yeah.
I
Well,
love it.
speaking of June, Miss Elfman, our TV editor was at a set visit, and I wasn't there, but he was gushing to me about a story you told about your father, and that hit really close to home for him. He got really emotional about that, and he wanted me to tell you that meant a lot to him. So, to what extent do those?
I'm trying to remember. I remember talking about my father. Oh.
To what extent do those personal experiences come into play with your character?
Well, I think, you know, we're human beings, and we have these meaningful people in our lives in real life that inform our personal character and our reference points for living, and our reference points to compassion and empathy as human beings. So when we get into these storylines, you know, it's like, what is love? What is compassion? What is empathy? And so we have these reference points. We have our imagination as artists, but we're human beings playing human beings. And I think for me, it's a huge thing, is these reference points in my life of empathy.
Is that ever difficult for any of you? Are there certain scenes that are incredibly hard to shoot emotionally, especially with such a dark subject matter, to have to reach back into those?
It depends if you're reaching back. I think you also can just create newly in the moment. And when they say cut, you're yourself again. You know, you can be disciplined as an artist and not, you know, send yourself into a self-destructive muck of reaching into your past. You know these reference points, you know these things, but it's like you're a chef. You're taking a piece from your past, you're taking a piece from your imagination, you're taking a piece of something you have observed or read. It's spectacular, and I feel like as an artist we get to dive into these opportunities to create new forms.
I was doing a scene with Alexa, and we had done the scene already, and then we did it again the second time, and it was all about information. The second time, when I turned and she, it's very important also the actors are leading you in that place. I lost it. I first of all, I was silent for like a minute, which is an eternity in film. You're just standing there and trying not to break, you know, and because the way she gave the line touched something, and awakened something in me.
I think I know what scene Ruben's talking about.
Yeah, and it was a surprise at that moment. It was right when Salazar, before he leaves.
Yeah.
And it was like they didn't use that. But I was very surprised, and it happens when you're singing sometimes, and it happens when you're acting too.
It's a huge compliment from an industry veteran.
Oh yeah, I mean, getting to work with Ruben is like one of the most amazing things ever. He's just so talented and smart and just like one of the sweetest people ever. No, seriously, I just like when you have someone to work with, our whole cast really, but especially, you know, I've worked with Ruben on some really, really great episodes this year. But when you get to work with someone who you can really like feed off of, is just so amazing.
Given the fact that the episodes we've seen so far this year were kind of something else, a little genre bending and a little different from what we've seen from the show in the past, can we look forward to like maybe like a Mad Max type scenario? That's where we as geeks look forward to.
Luciana gets into some hot situations, shall we say.
Well, it's in the trailer. You saw some fire there.
Yeah, exactly.
That's like
yeah.
serious fire. I mean, it was hot, but the fire was the next level of heat in Texas.
Bring the fire.
And let's just say that I was around, and that yes, the things become a little bit intense in the second half, and it involves a lot of fire.
Yeah.
Probably,
Right?
I mean, I think oil and gasoline become one of the most coveted commodities.
Yeah.
And anytime you have something that's highly coveted and highly scarce, you have high insanity based on whoever is got the interest in it and what their intentions are. And I think that's going to become quite explosive.
Yeah. Quite literally.
Literally.
Quite
I don't know if the
literally.
pun was. As far as The Walking Dead and Fear the Walking Dead tying together, this is something that kind of everyone's dying to know. I'm sure you've been asked it before. Where the hell is Rick going in that helicopter? There's lots of rumors out there. How would you like to see that tie in? And do you have any theories? What's going down? There's clear overlap.
There's clear overlap.
There's clear.
I mean,
Yes,
it's the
there
same
is.
symbol, literally. Literally, it's the same symbol on the helicopter.
I actually didn't put 2 and 2 together until I watched the episode on TV. I don't think, I wasn't in that episode 5 when we see it, but I don't think when I was reading the script I really added it together that that's the helicopter that took Rick. I don't know.
Interesting besides the helicopter is when Althea tries the suit, and the walker bites her, and that suit is way advanced.
Right.
So it goes to tell you that this place where people fly those kind of helicopters, they are way advanced than us. I mean, they have something going on that we are not there yet, and that is really amazing. I mean, I was like, I want that suit. And who are you? I mean, right?
Yeah, it suddenly made us look like cavemen, juxtaposed in this
What have we
story.
been doing?
Yeah.
And I think it's going to be an interesting thing personally as a fan moving forward. If there's going to be an interesting war between technology and humanity.
I was gonna go there.
Yeah.
100%.
I was gonna go there.
We're aligned.
We are aligned. I'm surprised. Yeah. So I'm like, there's some civilization that has kind of it's going on that we don't know, and it made me. I mean, when I watched the episode, I was like, I never thought of that, and she was so sure. Put this jacket on, and Althea didn't know what was gonna happen. I mean, she looked and she's like, oh, I'm fine.
What
So-
sounds like we might be hearing more about it in a movie.
If they
one day
don't,
coming up here.
I mean, I would be very surprised if they don't, because they just planted the idea and the facts are there.
You don't spend a whole episode with two
Right.
people telling that to never ever touch that
And
again.
also
Right.
the same time frame, so
Yeah.
pretty much the same time frame.
Yeah.
Ian and Andrew, sorry, no.
They provided a lot of wiggle room jumping ahead in The Walking
Yeah,
Dead,
yeah.
so
I feel like all the films are going to be in that 6-year.
that's what I was
But
thinking,
so
right?
there's another thing that I was going to mention. You can always visit those places through flashbacks. You know,
Totally.
there could be a flashback that explains what happened within in those 6 years, and you can go back. All of a sudden, people who were dead all of a sudden can be alive.
That's
Oh
my
my God.
theory.
And,
Yeah.
there's so many things you can explain through flashbacks.
I like that.
So, I think that there's going to be a connection. It's very interesting what they're doing, but they're teasing with everybody with this.
But they did say 3 films, right?
Is that confirmed?
I don't know. I thought that was announced.
I think that they said
It was
I've read.
announced.
Yeah.
Didn't Gimple on season 9 Talking Dead season finale?
Yeah, I think so.
Isn't that where he said there'll be 3? I don't know where. I didn't invent 3, right?
No,
I'm
I've
the
heard
journalist.
that.
I should know that
Yeah.
number.
I mean,
all
that's like
all I
six-
know is that
6
there's going to be
hours
films.
to fill in for 6
Right.
years.
But there's going to be also, I bet you, there's also going to be films with the Fear the Walking Dead. I mean, there will be connections because there are stories
Absolutely.
to be told.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's very interesting to see which way they're going to go with it.
And,
Yeah.
and
I feel
we've
like a
seen,
newscaster.
Yeah, and we've seen proof of that with
I
2
feel like the cat
crossovers.
should go into whatever
That
you're
cat is
going.
going to be there forever.
Yeah.
Yeah, Skidmark needs a crossover.
Tell them they're making more enemies than friends out here. And we got more bullets than we know what to do with. We're not doing careful. We're doing right.